and welcome back to Save Ourselves. Or if you're new here, then hi, I am Aparna, and in today's video, I'll be sharing 5 reasons on why you should document your life. Now, I have been bullet journaling for more than 4 years, and for even a longer time, I have maintained a long form journal. And apart from that, through photos and videos and other means, I have documented my life for a very long time, which is why I know the benefits of doing that, and I wanted to share those benefits with you as well. So, without further ado, here are 5 reasons on why you should document your life. Let's begin. Number one is to understand yourself better. Now, you're documenting your life only for yourself, and it's not to show it to anyone else or not to present your life in a manner that it feels good to look at or to be perceived. It's simply to see how you really are and to understand yourself better. Now, by documenting your thoughts in a long form journal or documenting your plans or even what you do on a day-to-day basis can help you take a look at your life objectively and see how it is unfolding. Now, that can really be a good form of a reality check for us every once in a while, and that's why I think it's important to document in whichever way that feels best for you. It will give you a clearer understanding of who you really are, what you value, and what you desire out of life. Reason number 2 is it's simply fun. Now, documenting your life in all of these little aspects can be really fun because you are simply noting down everything that you do, and if you feel like you're an interesting person, then there might be a lot of things that you might be doing throughout the day or throughout the month. So it's interesting to look back on all of these things and see where you have actually follow through with your interests and what are the areas that you can actually look at to build up your interests even more, or the activities that you want to take up. Even simple things like noting down the books that you're reading or TV shows that you're watching or even your favorite YouTubers can be an interesting activity, because then it lets you look at what kind of taste you have in music or books or TV shows and whatever that you're doing. Even documenting all the restaurants you have been to can be a fun exercise, and I think it just lets you build a much more interesting life that you have fun looking back on. Reason number 3 is that you can only improve on what you are measuring. So, if you're documenting some aspects of your life, then you are gathering evidence, you're gathering data about it, and based on that data, you can look back on it later and analyze and look at how you've been performing in that. Now, this doesn't need to be so technical, it's simply keeping a record of how you've been performing in those areas of your life and just taking a stock of your productivity, let's say, or your workouts, things that you're trying to improve on. So having this collective cumulative data that you have gathered over time will give you an idea of how you have been performing on them, and that will help you create a strategy for improvement. And I think this is really good when we are trying to build better habits or we're trying to improve on something, because collecting data will give us that base of how we can go about it, and this is what is going wrong, this is what is going right, and you will be able to just decipher things based on your activity and just move on in a much better way. Reason number 4 is that you're creating evidence for your identity. Now, in Atomic Habits, James Clear says that whenever we do something and each time we do something, we are casting a vote in favor of the identity that we are trying to imbibe. So, for example, if I'm trying to build a habit of working out, each time I work out, I am telling myself that I am a person who works out regularly, and each time I don't, I am casting a vote in the other direction. So when you're gathering this data through documenting your life, you are essentially building up evidence for the kind of person you are, and that doesn't have to be a good or a bad thing, but it just lets you look at who you are as a person, what you value, and what kind of identity you have. And this can be especially helpful when you're trying to build a specific identity in a specific aspect or trying to work on some of the values that are important to you. And this documentation process just lets you build up strong evidence in favor of that identity, and you can reassure and reaffirm to yourself that you are in fact becoming that person who you desire to be or what you thought you would want to become. And lastly, number 5 is that your future self will really enjoy it. Now, maybe in the process of documentation, you might find it interesting or not interesting depending on whether you're just starting out or whether you've been doing it for a long time. Once you find a mode or a medium of documentation that you will really like, it will gradually become more interesting and more easy for you. And despite all of that, your future self will have a really fun time looking back at all of this data that you have gathered. So it's always fun to look back on past journals or past bullet journals, past scrapbooks, photo albums, or even your phone gallery. It just lets you look at how you have lived your life in the past, lets you relive those memories and cherish them, and just take stock of who you have been as a person. And sometimes that's a really great reminder, because it will be helpful in times when you're feeling lost or stuck, when you will be able to look at all of this documentation and remind yourself of the person you used to be and the person you are on the way of becoming. So your future self will be really thankful and grateful to your past self for documenting all of this data and just keeping a log of how you have been living your life. Apart from these 5 reasons, a bonus reason is that in case you decide to write an autobiography later in your life, you will have the documentation that you need for writing one. A lot of people look back on their lives and can't remember a lot of chunks of it, and that can be really frustrating when trying to write an autobiography, is what I'm assuming. So if you start documenting your life right now, you will be able to have all of this information and just reach out for it whenever the time comes. So these were my reasons on why you should try documenting your life. And if you are already documenting your life, let me know your favorite ways of doing that in the comments below. I will try and cover a few ways of documenting your life in the upcoming videos. And if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up, because it really helps with the algorithm. If you enjoy seeing videos like these, then make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload. I will see you next week. Bye bye.